what I want to stress to everybody, and especially in the market that we're in now, and obviously I'm in Tucson, Arizona. There's folks in California. There's we've got agents all across the country. Every market is different, but I would truly believe that we as a whole are seeing it being a quite difficult market. Rates are fluctuating daily, weekly, monthly. Buyers are in, buyers are out. Sellers are, concerns. There's all these sort of things, and so what's really important for us as individuals is knowing our worth. And what I want to stress to you all is that your worth is not your last closing. Okay? You are not your last closing. And why this is really important to me is several years ago, I was really struggling personally with my worth. I was really feeling the rejections of going on a listing appointment and not being chosen. I was starting to feel that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't cut out for this industry. I wasn't good enough to do this. I wasn't as good as my competition, even though, Tom Ferry coaching, having the right coaching in all of these places and doing the things and taking the actions, I was really starting to struggle with, is this right for me? Okay, like, why am I losing? Why am I losing out? I'm saying the right things. I'm presenting myself well. Why am I not being chosen? And it really started to affect me personally. And I had all these doubts. And it took a toll on my mental health. I struggled with depression, struggled with my worth. It was quite a dark period for me. And when I started to do the work on this, and I'm going to raise my hand and say I didn't do this alone. I got a therapist, and I started working with a therapist. That for any of you that have ever taken that leap and worked with a therapist, it is a giant leap. You feel like you're jumping into the Grand Canyon because they start putting a mirror in front of you and asking you to take a deep look at yourself and answer some questions, and it's uncomfortable. It's incredibly uncomfortable. But there was a breakthrough there for me with regards to knowing your worth. And what I've since seen is, as realtors, we're always measured by a pattern, right? And I'm hoping I'll see some nodding heads here, that when you have conversations with other realtors, what are the kind of questions they're always asking? They're always measuring you on how many transactions have you done this year? Right? How many times who here has met another realtor that within the first couple of minutes they've asked, so how many transactions have you done? How many closings have you had? What's your GCI? Like, that is typically, we as realtors, like, those are the questions that we ask other realtors and they ask of us. And if you haven't had as many closings as them, or your GCI isn't as high as them, or you don't have as many pending transactions as them, that can really start to take a knock on your self-worth. Well, they're in the same market as me and they've sold 50 homes and I've sold 10. They're doing the same things as me and they've got, $1 million GCI and I've only got, 200,000. And that can really have an effect on your self-worth. Like, what am I doing wrong here? And we always seem to be compared on those data points. And realistically, that has got nothing to do with your self-worth, right? Who here has felt that? Has anybody here, and again, I'm going to, call on you to raise your hand or ask the question, who here has ever felt that? When you've met another realtor, you feel like you're being compared against somebody else, and you've actually felt internally that you're not good enough a little bit. Has anybody felt that? Ryan, thank you for raising your hand. Peter, did I see you raise your hand? Yeah, you've put it up. Shauna. Okay. So here's what I want to do for you. And I've gone through this and done the work, and it made such a difference, is I want to reframe what your worth is. It is not your closings. It is not your pending GCI. It is not how many transactions you've done. It's none of that. That is just your job. Okay. That's your job. Your worth is what you are and who you are. Okay. Value is what you produce. That's the GCI. That's the closings. That's the transactions. That will fluctuate. We've seen it in 2020, 2021, when the world was going nuts. Numbers were through the roof. We were producing daily and just crushing it. It will fluctuate because we saw that, 2024, 2025, things went down. Okay. So your value will always fluctuate. It is real and it is conditional. Whereas your worth will never fluctuate. It is not conditional. Your worth is not based on what you do, how many clients you serve, how many homes you sell. It's based on none of that. So your worth is not and is never conditional. So what does understanding your worth look like to you? It's understanding your worth is finding your inner confidence. Okay. And it does not concern others' opinions. It is not based on what you do for a job, how many people you serve. It's not based on numbers at all. It's you and your inner confidence. And when you dial into your worth and you are able to figure that out, and I'm going to say this kind of sharply, nobody else can do this for you. This is a job that you have to do yourself. Your confidence will increase, and you will see in all aspects of life, when meeting new people, when going on a listing presentation, when doing a buyer consultation, when negotiating with other agents, your confidence will go up. You will still get the same rejections. You will still get the same setbacks, and you'll still get the same pushback, and you'll still get the angry seller or the angry buyer or the frustrations. But knowing your worth will allow you to navigate through that with more clarity and more confidence. And it won't have you taking a step back saying, oh my God, am I good enough to be doing this? Or should I be doing this? Or Mr. and Mrs. Seller are upset with me. What did I do wrong? Oh my gosh. It allows you to step out of that negative space and turn around and go, you know what? Yes, the deal fell through. Yes, I didn't get chosen for that listing. That's okay. Doesn't affect me. What's next? And you just move on. You don't sit and dwell in that negative space. It also stops you operating by trying to prove something, which I think a lot of us, when you get into real estate, I know I have, and I'll be brutally honest, I was trying to prove something to everybody, trying to prove something to myself, trying to prove something to my wife, trying to prove something to the people that told me that I would fail in real estate. Oh, it's so difficult. You need your head checked. You shouldn't get into it. There's so many realtors. You're just going to be another number. I was trying to prove myself all the time that I can be good enough to do this. It will stop you having to tolerate assholes, which is the big one. When you know your worth, you do not have to take the seller who berates you, who literally puts the leash on you and starts walking you around and basically treating you like you're dirt. Okay? You will stop tolerating assholes. You will stop being bad at negotiating because you know your worth. You'll have your strengths. You'll start leading and you will stop being led. How many here, just a show of hands, have worked with a client that they have led you through the transaction? I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And because you don't know your worth, you're like, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And you're just jumping through every single hoop that your client is asking you to do. And some of it, let's be honest, is probably outside of your wheelhouse. You shouldn't be doing that. They should be doing that, taking that action. But you do it because you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want that bad review. You don't want them to say bad things about you. And you jump through things that you shouldn't be doing. And I'll be honest with you, we still probably will do it in finer aspects. But when you know your worth, you'll start pushing back and be like, hold on a minute, that's not my responsibility. That's yours. Okay. I'm here to negotiate and get you the best possible deal. I'm here to advise. I'm here to bring value. I'm not here to be your whipping boy or your whipping girl and basically run around doing all this shit for you because you're lazy. You stop dealing with assholes. And you start, when you know your worth, you start operating from a place of security and not scarcity. Okay. You will understand that meeting that person that wants you to jump through hoops, you will happily tell them, I'm sorry, I appreciate your time, but this isn't going to work. This is not the way I operate. This is the way I run my business. And I think you'll be better served by an agent who will happily do that for you. That isn't me. Like, how powerful is it for you to turn around and say to a client, I'm not the agent for you because I hold myself to a higher standard? And I tell you what, the first time that you say that and a client goes, oh, it's like Superman's cape, Superwoman's cape goes on and they go, oh, okay. Because they're not used to that, quite frankly. Like, buyers and sellers are shocked when a realtor says, you're not the client for me. And you push them away. They're like, I wasn't expecting that. Holy shit. Because they just think we're going to say yes because, we need to be paid. But when you start pushing back and say, I'm sorry, that's not the way I operate my business. I don't think you're going to be a good fit for me as a client. Holy shit, you put it on them. Let him go work with another asshole agent from a different brokerage. Who cares? Work with people that respect you, respect your time, respect your boundaries, and you'll get one or two. Trust me, I've just closed the deal this morning with a clients that were pushing my boundaries, and I had to remember my worth and push back. And when I finally pushed back, they actually turned around and was like, we apologize. You're right. I'll take care of that. Great. I shouldn't be calling the utility companies for you and setting up your electric. This is your new fucking home. You do it. Right? I'm sorry. That is a $10 an hour job. And I'm not in the $10 an hour business. All right. You do it. Your new house, you set up your utilities. I'll point you where you need to go, but I'm not making the phone calls for you. They expect you to do all that. So knowing your worth will help you push back. So I have, most of you probably sitting here on the call going, well, how do I figure out my worth, right? How did you do it, Matt? Well, trust me, it took many, many therapy sessions, but I got there in the end. And so what I'm going to do is save you from paying the hundreds of dollars an hour in therapy. And should you wish to get into therapy, I highly recommend it. It is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And it's not something to be ashamed of or scared of getting into. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool, and it helped me incredibly. But I have an exercise that I hope that some of you will take on and do with me this morning. Should any of you want to share, I would love that. Okay. If none of you are comfortable sharing and turning your microphone on, I also get that too. There's a little bit of buzzword bingo here, vulnerability. And if you want to be vulnerable in this space, wonderful. If you don't, I respect that as well. So what I would like you to do is on a piece of paper, if you have it on your laptop or on your phone, wherever you are right now, and if you're driving, just make a mental note, is write down one sentence you tell yourself after a bad moment. You've lost the listing, a deal has fallen through, a buyer has chosen not to work with you. What's one sentence that you often tell yourself? And it could be anything. But if you take a moment and just write that sentence down for me. And is there anyone that's willing to share what that sentence may be? Yes, Stacy. You got to unmute yourself, love. Come on. We've been doing Zoom since 2020, sweetheart. You can do this. There we go.
It wasn't meant for me.
Okay. What does that When you say that to yourself, it wasn't meant for me, what kind of space does that put you in after you say that? How does it affect you?
It puts me in a positive space because it wasn't my client to work with. It wasn't my client. It wasn't my house. It wasn't meant for me. So if I sit here and I dwell that I didn't get it or something went wrong, at the end of the day, it puts me in a positive headspace that on to the next. This one was not mine to, it wasn't mine to lose.
Awesome. I love that. So you actually take that negative and spin it into a positive and you just say, what's next? Right?
Yep.
Love that. Okay. Is there, and I love that. Is there anyone here that when something goes wrong in a bad moment, is there anybody here that has something that puts them into a negative space that's willing to share? Thank you, Stacey. Okay.
Yeah, I would think that like, a lot of people probably would go negative first and be like, I suck,
Mhm.
like, and just focus on the negative instead of turning that, like Stacy said, into a positive.
Yeah, for sure. It does happen. I'm sure when we got into this business and, you do cold calling or you do door knocking and you get no's, it's like, why am I bothering to do this? What's the point? It's like, how many no's can I take? It's just always chipping away at the reinforcement of you shouldn't be doing this. It's another no. It's like, God damn it. I've knocked 100 doors and got 100 no's. This sucks. Why bother even coming back out tomorrow and doing it again? And that happened to me, quite honestly. Cold calling, getting the no, calling expireds, getting the phone slammed down on me, being called every name under the sun. It's like, fuck these people. Why? Right? Just what's the point? It's demoralizing. It's painful. And that was the mind space I used to be in. Brian says there's a lot of bad words that flow out of my mouth for about a minute, then it's on to the
So
next.
that's
Yeah, I
why
love
he
that.
didn't share his.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
yeah,
swear on this call and say a whole bunch of bad words.
yeah. Dude, come on, you're on a Zoom call with a British guy. Every other word out of my mouth is typically a swear word. I'm trying very hard to curb it on this call. So here's the next. Here, why, Rochelle? Why didn't they trust me? Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And so that puts you into that mind of like, why didn't they trust me? What did I do wrong? How did I present myself? Is there something about me? Are they judging me? You know, I've gone into my own headspace of, is it because of the clothes I wear? Is it because of the vehicle I pulled up in? Is it my shoes? Like, what is it? Am I not personable? Is it because I'm British? Everything has ran through my mind at a time. What I want to do is to help you build your self-worth. And so my next exercise for you is I want you to, on a blank piece of paper, write down a list of 10 things that prove your worth. And I'm going to give you an example. And this is the really important part of this exercise. It cannot be attached to anything extrinsic. So I don't want to see on that list, I'm a good husband or a good wife. I'm a good father. I'm a good mother. I'm a great realtor. It cannot be attached to anything else. It has to be about you. So for an example, I am loyal. I am trustworthy. I'm funny. I'm loving. I'm caring. I'm empathetic. I am sympathetic. Things that make you who you are, that should you leave real estate tomorrow, should your spouse leave you, should you lose your home, should you lose every dollar in your bank account, it will not change a single thing about who you are. Things that cannot be taken away from you. So I am loving, I am caring, I am kind, I'm trustworthy, I am loyal, I'm empathetic, sympathetic. You get the idea. So take a moment and write down 10 of those things for me that cannot be taken away from you. And when somebody's got 2 or 3, or maybe they've got all the 10, if they're open to sharing, I would love for you to do so. Is there anyone willing to share a couple?
I have on here, I'm creative, and I'm loyal.
Okay. Yeah, great. Creative and loyal. Whether you lose your job, lose all the money in the bank account, whatever it is, those cannot be taken away from you, Evelyn. Those are your core truths, your core worth. Those are things that nobody else can remove from you. So, and I see a lot of people writing some stuff down here. My ask of you is, over the next several days, is keep that list, that blank piece of paper on your desk. Keep that in front of you. Keep that in a place where you will see it. And as you think of something that, whatever happens in your day-to-day job, whether you meet somebody or you're just at home thinking, or at work and thinking, when you think of something else that is intrinsically you that cannot be taken away, add it to the list. Okay. This was an exercise my therapist gave me. And I'll be honest, I struggled. I probably got about 5 or 10 to begin with. And I was like, oh, this sucks. But I kept that book in front of me. And I now have a list of around 76 things in that piece, on that book and on the piece of paper. Things that make me who I am that can never be taken away from me. And it may be a year later and something comes up and I'm like, oh shit, I never thought of that. And I just add it to the list. It's an ongoing list. I'm always building it. But like I said, nobody can take that away from me. And so, Rochelle, when you go into that appointment and you lose and you don't get the listing and you're in your car after the appointment and you start thinking to yourself, oh shit, is it because they didn't trust me? Is it because of the car that I drive? Is it because I said something wrong? Is it because I said a joke at the wrong time and they didn't laugh? No. And that little voice in your head starts spinning. You can go back to that list and go, who cares? I am loving, I am kind, I'm trustworthy, I'm creative, I'm caring, I'm empathetic, I'm sympathetic, Who's next? I didn't get the listing, so what? I still have this amazing list of all these things. These are my superpowers. These don't change. Who's next? And I guarantee when you're in that mindset, like I said, you'll stop working with assholes because you know your worth, all of those things. And honestly, when you meet somebody or you're in front of a client and they don't start to respect your list, that's people you don't want to work with. If you're empathetic and they don't want the empathy or the sympathy, or they judge you for being extremely caring or kind or whatever it is, get rid of them. And this is the same in our personal lives too. You will start to realize when you build your worth and that list is in front of you, you can look at the people around you that you invite into your life as friends or associates, family even, right? Where you go, why? I wouldn't even have these people as clients. Why am I asking them to be my friends? They don't respect my list. They don't value my worth. And that's next level. That's a whole different Zoom call, right? When we start unlocking and going, I'm cutting family members out. I'm cutting friends out because they don't appreciate my worth. That is a game changer, by the way. And you will quickly see the whole ethos of 5. Show me the 5 people you surround yourself with and I'll show you your future. That is, it all ties back into your self-worth. I have another challenge for you. So step 1's homework is to keep creating that list of your worth. Keep it in front of you at all times. And on the worst day, look back at it. Take a moment, put some headphones on or AirPods in, and just reflect on your list, because that is who you are and it can never be taken away. My second challenge to all of you is I want you to write a badass list. And I would say probably 10 to 20 things. If you've got more, do it. And this is going to go on another piece of paper, the second page in that book, your badass list. What makes you a badass? Stacy, what makes you a badass? John, what makes you a badass? Okay, Peter, what makes you a badass? And this can be anything. Where if you were to tell somebody that thing, they'd go, holy shit, you're a badass. Stacy writes in her list, yeah, I've bungee jumped off a cliff. I did a 500-foot rope swing in Moab. I've done a parachute jump. I scuba dived with sharks. People go, that's badass, right? Whatever it is. And it can be the smallest thing. It can be the greatest thing. You don't have to be an astronaut. You don't have to be an underwater welder. It doesn't have to be these crazy extrinsic things where people would look at it and go, that's not badass. That's just dumb. And maybe that goes on the list too. But what makes you a badass? Because those are the things that you'll look back on your bad day and go, this is my worth on this piece of paper, and this is my badass list. And those two things, when you read them, go, what's next? I didn't, like Stacy said, it wasn't meant to be. Move on. I'm a badass. Here's my worth. Who's next? And you reading those two pieces of paper, and maybe it's something you have to look at every morning whilst brushing your teeth, before you go into the office, before you pick up the phone, before you open your emails, you do that little mantra of, here's my 25 things that are my worth. Here's my 25 things that make me a badass. Let's go kill the day. And those things cannot be taken away. My last sentiment to you is, and I know that when the market is tough and you're in competition, that we will most likely work with people who don't appreciate our worth and don't appreciate how much of a badass we are. But the one thing I want to leave with you is, and this statement, which I hold true to my heart, and this goes back to surrounding yourself with the people around you, your family, your friends, your clients, is do not dine, as in do not bring people to your table who you wouldn't be prepared to starve with. So do not bring people to your table that you would not be prepared to starve with. Because if you're not prepared to starve with them, they are not willing to get in the trenches with you, and they're not willing to go hungry with you, you should not be feeding them. Because we are all surrounded by people who want us to feed them constantly. I'm sure we have people in our lives where they only ever call you when there's drama, and they want you to make them feel better. Who's had a few of those? Who's got a few of those? And Michelle's like, hell yeah, I got some of those. Stacey's like, I got some of those, right? The only time they ever call you is to complain. You're on the phone for 25 minutes. They've never asked how you are. They've never asked, how's your life going? It's just them, verbal diarrhea for 25 minutes, literally being a fun sponge and soaking the fun out of that conversation. And all it is drama, 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 drama. I need you to help me. And you're just an agony aunt for 25 minutes. And then once they've got that dopamine hit from you by telling you how great, that you're telling them how great they are and life's going to be okay, and you're such a great mother or parent or brother or sister or friend, they go, thanks very much, click, and hang up the phone. And afterwards you're like, bitch, she didn't even ask me how I was. Right? Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, we've all got them, okay? Everyone's nodding their head. We've all got those in our lives. So if they're not prepared to starve with you, stop feeding them. It's a hard truth. And when you know that call, when your mother calls and you're like, here we go, it's going to be 25 minutes of mom complaining about dad, how her back hurts, how the doctor didn't give her the prescription she wants, yada, 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 right? Voicemail. And watch how great your day becomes because you dodge that bullet. All right. Now, maybe that 25-minute call turns into an hour call 2 weeks later. Small victories. Okay. But do not dine with people you are not prepared to starve with. All right. We're at 35 minutes here. I hope that a little bit of this helps you build your worth. This took me hours in therapy, and this is not something today that you are going to get off this call and be like, I figured it out. I know my worth. This is an ongoing project. I've been out of therapy. I was in therapy once a week. I then went down to once every 2 weeks. I then went down to once a month. And now, thankfully, I don't have to rely on therapy, but I always have it as a safety net. And my therapist will check in every now and then with a text message. Hey, how's everything going? It's amazing. But it took me a long time to build this list of my worth, and it took me a while to build my badass list. And there are days where I have to go back to those lists, where I've been kicked in the teeth constantly for 8 hours for the day. I've had a deal fall through and I'm holding it together with duct tape and safety pins and anything else I can get my hands on. But going back to that list, that's your safety net, and it will help you. And you will build confidence. You'll stop dealing with assholes. You will not be comparing yourselves via your GCI, via how many transactions you have or how many pendings you have. And you will realize that you are not your last closing. Thank you so much. If anybody's got any comments, questions, want to discuss something, I'm more than happy to. And I'm extremely grateful for Emily and Nazar giving me the space to come and chat with you guys this morning, because this is very dear and close to my heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're really welcome. I appreciate it. And thank you to those that spoke up, Emily and Stacey. I appreciate it. Did this resonate with a few folks? Is it something that people can take away and work on? Yeah. I saw Rochelle's eyes light up a couple of times.
Yeah,
So.
it did. I mean, I already written a list. It took me a good while to think about the things of I am, but I'm actually up to 8, which I'm surprised. So
Yeah, that badass list.
No, the I am. The badass list, I'm at number 3, but I'll keep working on that one.
You'll get that. Listen, Rochelle, it'll be one of those moments you'll be in the shower and something pop up and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I got to add that to my list. All right, you'll be having your morning cup of coffee. You'll be driving, jamming out in your car, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I am a badass." It can be anything. I added on my badass list that I went to Coachella for the first time at the age of 40. So some people are like, "That's cool." To me, I was like, "I'm a badass. I went to Coachella at the age of 40.
Yeah.
I'm jamming out to Justin Bieber and Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a badass." All right.
Are you going to go next year?
I am going next year. I am going next year. Yeah, this will be my 3rd year in a row of going to Coachella. And 100,000 people. They're all dressed up. There's young, there's old. I'm like, I'm a badass. I'm taking 3 days off to go to a music festival. Like, I think it makes me a badass. Some people are just like, you're just normal. I'm like, no, this is me being a badass at the age of 40. I've done 500-foot rope swings. I've done a parachute jump. I ran with the bulls in 2023. I've done things that, again, when you tell somebody, they go, that's badass. I'm like, oh shit, that actually is badass. I should write that down. So it's an ever building list. But the worth and your badass list, like I said, keep them visible. When I started this, I had them on my bathroom mirror. Then I moved them into a booklet, which I keep on my desk. That's always there, should I need it. And I just refer to that on my worst day, and it will pick you right up. So, Shauna, thank you. Tabitha, John, Rochelle, Stacey, Bia, Peter, Tony, Kimberly, Sarah, and Matthew, everybody that was on the call, and Ryan, of course. I didn't miss you, our brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm always here if you want to chat. It's been a long road. Depression was tough. It was a dark period. But as Dumbledore says, all you got to do is sometimes in the darkness is turn on the light. So if I can be a help to turn on the light for somebody, let me know.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Matt.
All right. Take care, my friends. Go crush your day.
And see you guys. Have a good day.